Shaft, John Shaft. What's going on, world? It's your man Slim Jim Longfoot, aka the GOAT, King of America. Yo, if you wondering like, yo, is this an art video? Yo, is this a how-to video? No, this is another review video. If you checked out my spoiler-free review of Avengers Endgame a couple of months ago, you know what I'm saying? That was pretty cool. But this one right here, just to warn people, just to warn you, this is a spoiler review of the latest movie, Shaft, directed by Tim Story. This, of course, is a sequel to the 2000 film of the same title, Shaft, which, of course, itself is a reboot. Not reboot. Yeah, I guess you could say that was a reboot, of course, of the original Shaft series that started back in the 1970s, starring Richard Roundtree, and, of course, directed by the legendary Gordon Parks. So, what can I say about this movie? I mean, it was dope, you know what I'm saying? It was funny. It was action-packed. You know what I'm saying? Samuel L. at his finest. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, Jesse T. Usher. You know what I'm saying? Jesse T. Usher. For those that don't know, you know, Jesse T. Usher, he's been around since he was a teenager. He was on this show back on Cartoon Network, a live-action show called Level Up. He was also, of course, for many who may know him recently, he was in the Starz show Survivor's Remorse, which was real good. Lasted, what was it, about 3-4 seasons, if I'm not mistaken. The young lady who played his sister on there, she's gorgeous. And, of course, the woman who, of course, played his mother on there, Tachina Arnold, a.k.a. Pam from Martin. Gorgeous as always. And Mike Epps played his uncle on that show as well. Anyway, Jesse T. Usher. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, don't get it twisted. I don't know the guy. You know what I'm saying? He's never struck me as a person who has that, you know what I'm saying, that suave demeanor, or as you kids, you know, say these days, swag, or y'all been saying it for like 10 years or so now, but whatever. But anyway, you know, he doesn't strike me as a person who has that, you know, suave, debonair, that Shaft factor, I should say. You know what I'm saying? Which, you know what I'm saying, is what I figured they was going to play off on the movie. You know what I'm saying? Jesse T. Usher, his character, of course, is John Shaft Jr., or the third, whichever way you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? He is the son of the character that Samuel L. Jackson plays, which is John Shaft, who in the 2000 movie, he played the nephew of the original Shaft, John Shaft, played by Richard Roundtree. Which in this movie they revealed that he was not Samuel L. Jackson's character's uncle, but his actual father. In real life, it's funny since those guys are actually 6 years apart in real life. So anyway, but Jesse T. Usher, he pretty much played the type of character that I figured he was going to play, a guy who wasn't, you know what I'm saying, hip to the street, so to speak. You know what I'm saying, pretty much like a square. But, you know what I'm saying, just because he played a square type character doesn't mean that he didn't have some actual type of skills. Like, you know what I'm saying, the way he kept talking about in the movie that he hated guns. Just because a guy hates guns doesn't mean he don't know how to use them. You know what I'm saying, Batman don't like guns either, but he can pow if he wanted to. That reminded me of another character who I still can't think of to this moment. A character that said I know who it was. I believe that was Arrow. Arrow on the show Arrow, you know, Stephen Amell. I know that his character, of course, doesn't like guns, but he knows how to use them, though. Yeah, there's been other characters like that, and, you know what I'm saying, throughout, you know what I'm saying, you know, TV and movie history that say they don't like guns, but that don't mean they ain't no beast with them, you dig? And so, of course, Jesse T. Usher's character, John Shaft, proved that he was indeed a beast with them. Regina Hall, she's been doing her thing since The Best Man, since she was Candy in The Best Man, and throughout this whole century thus far, for the past 20 years, Regina Hall has been doing her thing. And she does not, you know what I'm saying, she does not come up short playing the young lady that she played in this movie, which, of course, is Jesse T. Usher's character's mother, a.k.a. John Shaft by, you know, Samuel L. Jackson, his son's mother, baby mama, however you want to call it. Anyway, she was great in there, you know what I'm saying? She was basically trying to shield her son from the dangerous lifestyle that his dad led, you know what I'm saying? The shooting, the bullets, you know what I'm saying? The death. You know, she was basically trying to keep him away from all that. But at the end of the day, the boy did join the FBI. So eventually, some way or another, he was going to find his way into that. And the fact that, you know, when she was, of course, mad at Samuel L. Jackson, she was mad at John Shaft for, you know, involving their son into this, you know, this whole crazy, you know what I'm saying, violence that, you know, popped up throughout the movie. But once she found out that, you know, her son was the one who initiated the contact and needed his dad's help on the situation, and it evolved into that, she couldn't be mad at Samuel L. Jackson. I'm gonna go ahead and call them by, you know, the actors' names, because pretty much every guy in the movie name is John Shaft. Richard Roundtree is in the movie, his name is John Shaft. Samuel L. Jackson, his name is John Shaft, and Jesse T. Usher, his name is John Shaft. So, you know, so I call them by the actors' names instead of Shaft, and Shaft. You know, everybody is Shaft in these. But anyways, the story pretty much starts off. You know what I'm saying, we see a glimpse of, you know what I'm saying, both parallel ends of, you know what I'm saying, from the start of the movie, where it starts in 1989, which is roughly about 10 or so years before the first Samuel L. Jackson movie. You know what I'm saying, like in 89, when we see, you know, them involved in a shootout, you know, him and his girl, Regina Hall, they are in a car. And, you know what I'm saying, you know, talking and everything like that. And next thing you know what I'm saying, boom, 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 when shootout starts off. And so that's when she pretty much says, okay, she got to leave, because she can't, you know, she can't have her son caught up in the midst of this violence. If Samuel L. Jackson is going to stay in this type of world of, you know, bullets and, you know, people coming at us, then she can't do it. And their kid was in the back seat as a baby, you know what I'm saying? So she was like, no, she can't do this. So, you know, she left him. And so we see, of course, both ends of the years from 1989 leading up to the present. You know what I'm saying, what Shaft was doing from that moment. We even see, of course, a scene from the first movie when he threw his badge near the judge's head, you know, from that case. Shout outs to Christian Bale, who, of course, was in that first movie, played the racist dude who killed Mekhi Phifer's character. He killed Mekhi Phifer's character in the first Shaft that Samuel L. Jackson played. You know, that was a pretty good movie, of course. Vanessa L. Williams, you know, the first Black Miss America. Anyway, but what else can I say as far as this go? You know, it was action packed. It was dope. You know, going back to the flashbacks, we see Jesse T. Usher's character and his two friends, you know what I'm saying, as he comes up. You know, he was a wimp as a kid, and he had this friend, you know, this boy, who, you know, looked out for him. And he also had a woman, you know, girl, you know, friend, female friend, however you want to call it. You know, he had a boy, you know, he had two friends. One was a boy, one was a girl. Anyway, you know, both of them, you know, all three of them were cool growing up. The young lady, she grew up to become a doctor. And the young man who was his friend, he went to the military, you know what I'm saying, came back, you know what I'm saying, got strung out on drugs for a while. Then he, got clean. And so, you know, they all met up, you know what I'm saying, was hanging out. And the dude, he was telling them about some stuff he was involved in, you know what I'm saying, keep himself straight. And, you know, he got a call, you know what I'm saying, he gave Jesse T. Usher a hug, you know what I'm saying, boom, you know what I'm saying, love you, man, you always been there for me, blah, blah, blah. Next morning, Jesse T. Usher gets up, his mom telling him, you know what I'm saying, his boy dead. So, you know what I'm saying, it's like, dang, I just seen him last night, there you go. You know, find out, you know what I'm saying, he, you know, got back on the needle, he OD'd, you know, like, dang. But then it was like, it didn't feel right for him, because he was like, you know what I'm saying, he been clean, and I saw the light in his eyes, you know what I'm saying, like, he wasn't going that route no more. He was back. He was for real, you know, he wasn't about to do that no more. So, you know what I'm saying? So, he wanted to do some investigating, you know, his investigating led right, and, you know what I'm saying, things got a little tight, you know what I'm saying, because he went to the hood, where people don't play that, you know what I'm saying, and that's when he got his dad involved, you know what I'm saying, he went to his dad, you know what I'm saying, Samuel Jackson, you know what I'm saying, you know, all the way Shaft style, swallowed up, you know, naked woman answer the door. Like, you know what I'm saying, blase, blase, you know, they get to talking, rapping, you know, a little catch up, so to speak. And like, you know, Shaft at first was looking at this dude, Samuel Jackson was looking at this dude like, you ain't my son. You not my son. Cause from head to toe, no, no. You know what I'm saying? So he basically had to, you know, had to put 30 years of fatherhood into this, you know, whole little mix of, being a part of this case and everything tying back to, you know what I'm saying, how Samuel Jackson, you know, ended up losing his family in the first place, back to the person who, you know what I'm saying, tried to kill him, you know, back in 89, you know. So what can I say? What else can I say? If you love action-packed movies, if you thought, no, I don't want to see this, no, go ahead and see it. It's very good. If you love Samuel L. Jackson, if you love black, you know the word. You love black movies, period. You love action, you love comedy. Samuel L. Jackson, he's a national treasure at this point. You know what I'm saying? Came a long way since that dude who robbed McDowell's back in Coming to America. For those that also don't know, you know what I'm saying, the first Samuel L. Jackson Shaft, his coolness in that movie was the reason why comic book creators at that time decided to, you know what, when we do the new Avengers book, which is going to be called the Ultimates, set in the Ultimate Universe at Marvel Comics, we're going to reimagine these characters. And Nick Fury, who was traditionally a white man with brown hair, white hair on the sides with an eye patch. He basically, when I was a kid, I thought Nick Fury and Mr. Fantastic were twins. I mean, if you look at Nick Fury back in the day and Mr. Fantastic, they look like the same freaking dude. Only difference was Nick Fury had an eye patch and he was unshaven all the time. You know, he had hairs on his face. I thought him and Mr. Fantastic were either twins or he was Mr. Fantastic from the future or something when I was a kid reading the books, before I realized that they were different characters. They just both looked like the same freaking white dude, you know. But anyway, once they came out with the Ultimates book, they was like, man, we want to reimagine Nick Fury. We're going to make him cool. We're going to make him black. And you know what? We're going to make him look just like Sam Jackson. So, you know, from the Shaft movie. And after that, the rest is history. So, of course, once the Marvel movies, the MCU came about, who else was going to play Nick Fury but the guy who, you know what I'm saying, he was modeled after, the new Nick Fury. He was modeled after Samuel L. Jackson. So who but Samuel L. Jackson was going to play Nick Fury? You know what I'm saying? And so you can thank the 2000 Shaft for that. And so here it is, 19 years, almost 20 years later, almost 2 decades later, we have another Shaft movie, which I'm quite sure Sam Jackson could have fit that in his schedule at any time before, because how many movies have Sam Jackson done in just the past 20 years? He's probably done, what, maybe, I mean, shoot, you could just watch nothing but Samuel L. Jackson movies for the rest of your life from this point, and you got, what, probably about close to 100, maybe 200 movies? Probably not 200 movies, but I'd say probably like at least 100. I know it's at least 100. I mean, this year alone, he's come out with 4 movies already. He's, been in Glass, he's in Captain Marvel, he was in Endgame, and now Shaft. And no telling what else he's coming out with before the year is over. I mean, that's 4 movies already in just this 1 year. So if you go 4 movies for the past 20 years, you know what I'm saying, that's what, almost 80 movies? About 80 movies. You know what I'm saying? So it all depends. I mean, what, Phantom Menace came out in 99. We know he was in, what, all 3 of the prequels. So what, Phantom Menace, that's 3. And the Avenger movies, what he was in, what, Avengers 1, Avengers 2, Avengers 3, Avengers 4. That's 4 right there, you know, boom. He's been in a lot of movies, I mean, period. A lot of big movies at that. So, yeah. That's the end of my review. What we got? That's the end of my review. Jesus, this is like 15 minutes long. Man, I need to stop this now. I did not know this review was going to be this long, but if you're still around, I hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, I'm done. Please do like, share this video, and subscribe to the channel. You know, check out my other series, GOAT 1408 TV. We're currently on 63 episodes. We are on 63 episodes of GOAT 1408 TV. 64 and 65 will be dropping very soon. As a matter of fact, 64 will be dropping tonight. So, hey, live life till you die. I'm your man, Slim Jim Longfoot, a.k.a. the GOAT, King of America. I'm out. Peace.
Time, no. Tell them don't waste my time. Tell them don't waste my time.